Abandoned Colossal Starship calls for a human mechanic. He turns it into a Galactic Megaweapon. Captain Elias Thorne leaned back in his command chair, staring at the empty stretch of stars on the view screen. The crew of the Ardent Voyager had been exploring the outer rim of the Azura expanse for weeks, mapping uncharted star systems and cataloging derelict vessels. Most of their finds were tiny freighters or abandoned mining ships. Nothing interesting, nothing dangerous.
Nothing worth risking lives for.
Another empty sector, muttered Elias, rubbing his temples.
I swear, the universe is mocking us. First Officer Marilu tapped the console. Captain, sensors are picking up a massive energy signature. It's hard to classify, larger than anything we've seen in this sector. And it's moving very slowly, like it's waiting. Elias frowned. Nothing in space waits. Bring it up on the view screen. A pale glow appeared on the main display. At first, it looked like a drifting asteroid, but as the sensors focused, a colossal shape emerged. A starship the size of a small moon floated silently, its hull cracked in several places, trailing faint energy arcs. It was clearly ancient, abandoned for centuries, yet the faint hum of power still lingered. The crew exchanged nervous glances. It's enormous, whispered one of the engineers. I've never seen anything like it. Neither have I, Elias admitted. All right, suit up. We're boarding, but be careful. I don't want us becoming another lost crew in the stars. The Ardent Voyager slowly approached the colossal ship. Its hull was pitted with craters and scorched marks from past battles. Alien symbols, glowing faintly, ran along the surface like veins of some impossible organism. The ship's sheer scale made their own vessel look like a toy. Docking ports ahead, said Mara. But wait, the ports are opening on their own. Sensors indicate no crew on board, no AI activity, but the doors are opening. Elias raised an eyebrow. No crew, no AI, and yet it's opening for us. Seems like it knows we're here, Mara said. Or wants us, muttered Jax Mercer from the back of the room. He was the Ardent Voyager's mechanic, notorious for fixing things no one else could. Tall, wiry, with grease-stained hands and a permanent smirk, Jax had a reputation for solving problems that were impossible by any standard logic. I say we go in. Something about this ship is calling me. Calling you? Elias asked, clearly unimpressed. It's a dead alien ship, Mercer. Not your grandma. Jax grinned. Maybe your grandma can't repair alien tech. I can. The boarding team suited up and crossed the airlock. The interior of the ship was unlike anything they had ever seen. Hallways stretched for kilometers, lit by a faint bioluminescent glow. The walls pulsed with soft energy, responding to their presence. This place, it's alive, whispered one of the engineers. Not alive, but you know what I mean. Jax crouched, running his gloved hand over a control panel. Sparks jumped where he touched it, but instead of shorting out, the ship hummed in response. Lights flared, and a section of the hallway retracted to reveal a hidden chamber. Whoa, Jax breathed. It likes me. Elias glared at him. Mercer, don't start talking to the walls. Just find out what this ship is and how it works. Right, Jax said, crouching by the control panel. He began tapping and twisting, improvising with tools he had no business using on alien machinery. The panel responded to his touch, sliding open to reveal a central core room, its ceiling towering, walls covered in alien glyphs that seemed to shift as he looked at them. Inside, a massive sphere floated in the center, glowing faintly. Energy lines ran from it to every corner of the ship. It was alive in a way humans couldn't understand. Is this the heart of the ship? Asked Mara. Jax didn't answer. He was already moving, placing sensors, running diagnostics, muttering to himself in a language only he understood. This is incredible. Whoever built this, they didn't just make a ship, they made a giant weapon. Or maybe more than a weapon. Something beyond war. Mercer, slow down. Weapon or not, we don't know how much power it has. One wrong move and... Trust me, Jax interrupted. I've handled worse. Humans can handle things like this that aliens never could. Hours passed, and the crew explored the ship. They discovered corridors that twisted space, rooms that defied gravity, and energy conduits that seemed to respond to thought rather than touch. Every discovery reminded them that this ship was beyond human or alien design. Until Jax came along. He was the key. Every panel he touched sparked to life. Every dead system hummed, as if the ship recognized a human presence. It was more than mechanics. It was symbiosis. "You're saying the ship likes humans?" Mara asked, watching him work. Jax shrugged. "Not just likes. It needs us. Or maybe it's choosing us?" Elias shook his head, though a small part of him was impressed. "Choosing us for what?" Jax paused, staring at the glowing sphere in the core room. "I think it's waiting for someone to awaken it. Someone clever enough to understand it. Someone bold enough to handle it. That someone might be a human." The idea that a ship of unimaginable power was waiting for a human mechanic seemed absurd, but the evidence was right in front of them. That night, while the rest of the crew slept in temporary quarters, Jax stayed in the core room. He ran his fingers along the energy lines, feeling currents that were alive. Lights pulsed in rhythm with his heartbeat. "This is insane," he whispered, "but I can make it work. I can make it sing." A low hum filled the room, growing louder. Panels lit up one by one. Jax's sensors indicated power levels spiking, systems coming online that had been dead for centuries. He barely had time to register the warning messages flashing across his interface. "Energizing. Core unknown reaction." The system blared. Jax grinned. "Perfect. Just what I wanted." Suddenly, the floor vibrated beneath him. The ship shook as though waking from a long sleep. Energy lines blazed like lightning, and the entire structure thrummed with a power that made the air itself feel charged. "Mercer," Elias's voice came over the comm. "What are you doing in there?" "Talking to it," Jax said calmly. "It's listening, and I think it's alive. At least in a way we can work with." The ship responded. Doors opened across the corridors. Hidden chambers revealed themselves. Machines long dormant sprang to life, humming in perfect synchrony with Jax's actions. And then the ship spoke, or at least it sounded like it did. Not in words, but in a vibration through the hall, a resonance that filled Jax's chest. "A call? You," Jax whispered. "It's calling me." Elias and Mara exchanged horrified looks. "Calling him?" Mara repeated. "Like, alive?" "Yes," Jax said simply. "Alive and powerful. And it thinks humans can handle it." By morning, the rest of the crew had seen the results. Small sections of the Colossal Starship were now operational, responding to commands in ways humans didn't fully understand. Systems that should have been dead for centuries were humming. "Captain," said Mara, "this ship, it's dangerous. We barely understand it. We don't even know its origin. Other species would kill to control it." Jax leaned against a console, smirking. "Exactly. That's why it chose us. Humans don't just follow logic. We improvise. We take risks. We make things work where others fail. That's why we're perfect for this ship." Elias sighed, "Or perfect to get ourselves killed." Jax grinned. "Maybe, but I like those odds." As the ardent Voyager crew prepared to explore deeper into the ship, they had no idea that they had stumbled upon a weapon capable of reshaping the galaxy, and that human ingenuity was the key to awakening it fully. The Colossal Starship was no longer abandoned. It had called for someone to awaken it. And it had chosen a human mechanic. The Colossal Starship pulsed with energy, as if breathing after centuries of silence. Jax Mercer stood in the core room, his hands hovering over the alien controls. Every panel, every conduit seemed to hum in rhythm with him. It was not merely a machine. It was a partner. And for the first time, Jax understood the scope of what he held in his hands. Captain Elias Thorne and First Officer Mara Lu entered the chamber, their boots echoing on the metallic floor. "This is insane," Mara whispered. The readings are off the charts. I've never seen anything like this, not even in the archives. Elias's eyes narrowed as he studied the energy streams running across the walls. And you're telling me this is safe? Jax smirked, brushing a streak of grease from his face. Jax smirked. Maybe not. Fun? Absolutely. Mercer, Elias said, tone firm. Remember what I said about caution. This thing could kill us if we push the wrong button. Jax waved him off. Relax, Captain. I've handled worse. Trust me. Jax had already started exploring the starship's internal systems. He discovered massive energy generators, alien weapons dormant but intact, and gravity manipulators that could bend the corridors into shapes that made no sense to human eyes. These systems, they're not just weapons, Jax muttered, tracing a finger along a glowing panel. They're adaptive. They can change configuration depending on who's using them. That's why it responded to me. No other species could interface like this. Mara crossed her arms, skeptical. So, it chooses humans? That's convenient. Not convenient, Jax said. Strategic. Humans don't follow predictable patterns. Aliens rely on rigid protocols. We improvise. We take risks. That's why it wants us. The star system around them was silent, but distant sensors picked up movement. Small alien scout ships approaching fast. Captain, Mara said, pointing to the console. You might want to see this. Elias swore under his breath. Of course. Others have noticed it already. Get the crew ready. We may not have much time. Using a combination of alien technology and human intuition, he managed to bring more of the ship online. Power flowed to weapons bays, shields, and propulsion systems that had been dormant for centuries. Every system responded to his touch like a puzzle piece snapping into place. Whoa, Jax muttered, activating a section of the hull that extended into an external arm. These things can deploy smaller craft, mini-drones, fighters, even boarding pods. Do you realize what this means? We could defend ourselves against a small fleet or destroy one, Jax grinned. Or both. Humans can do what aliens can't. We improvise, we adapt, we take risks. That's why this ship called me. By dawn, the alien scouts had closed in on the colossal ship. They were sleek, deadly, and clearly intending to investigate or destroy the massive vessel. The human crew watched the approaching threat on the view screen, tension tight in the air. Captain, Mara said, they're not communicating. They're coming in weapons hot. All right. Prepare defensive measures. Jax, can we at least slow them down? Oh, I can do better than slow them down. He tapped a sequence of alien glyphs on the core interface. Lights flared across the ship, and energy shields blinked to life along the hull. Gravity manipulators inside corridors shifted subtly, creating traps and obstacles for any boarding parties. Okay, Jax muttered. Now we play. The first alien scout ship approached the Colossal Starship. It fired energy pulses, but the humans were ready. The starship's dormant weapons sprang to life. Massive beams of energy shot out from hidden turrets, striking the scouts with precision no alien could have predicted. Impressive, Mara said, her eyes wide. They're hitting them before they even know what's happening. That's human ingenuity, Jax replied, smiling. We see gaps, we act fast, we make things work. The aliens were confused. They expected a machine to behave predictably, but this starship moved with human improvisation. Shields adjusted dynamically, weapons fired from unexpected angles, and corridors inside shifted to prevent boarding attempts. Captain, Mara said, pointing to a display. They're sending reinforcements. Elias rubbed his chin. Looks like they don't take warnings well. We'll have to show them why humans are dangerous. Jax grinned wider. Exactly my thought. Inside the Colossal Starship, Jax led the crew in improvising further. Using alien systems combined with human engineering, he created makeshift defenses, energy nets that could ensnare enemy drones, gravitational traps that could fling attackers into the void, and adaptive shielding that strengthened with every impact. This ship is alive, but it needs guidance, Jax explained. We're giving it strategy. Humans are. the decision-makers it lacked. Mara shook her head in disbelief. You're basically turning it into a weapon. Correction, Jack said, smirking. We're turning it into the weapon. One the galaxy has never seen. The battle intensified. Alien fleets continued to arrive, but each attempt was met with human cunning. One squadron tried to board, only to find corridors reshaped into impossible mazes. Another fired energy missiles, which were absorbed and redirected back at the attackers thanks to Jax's quick thinking. Humans are unpredictable. An alien commander growled over a comm channel intercepted by the ship's sensors. Our calculations are useless. Exactly. That's why the universe underestimated us. Elias watched, torn between fear and admiration. The humans were winning, not through superior numbers or technology, but through creativity, risk-taking, and adaptability. This is unbelievable, Mara whispered. We're not just surviving. We're showing them humans are something else. Welcome to HFY, Jack said casually, activating another section of the starship. A massive energy cannon extended from the hull, dwarfing anything the aliens could have imagined. As the sun of the dead star rose over the horizon, the Colossal Starship systems reached near full activation. Jax had turned it from a derelict relic into a fully operational weapon capable of defending itself and the humans. Yet, the victory was temporary. Sensors picked up a massive alien fleet emerging from the far side of the system, warships larger and more advanced than any scout vessels. This was the real test. Elias gathered the crew. Listen up. We've done well so far, but the next wave will be unlike anything we've faced. Prepare for combat and stay sharp. Jax, crouching by the control panel, smiled. Good. I like challenges. Humans rise under pressure. This ship, it rises with us. The Colossal Starship seemed to respond, energy flowing through its systems, humming in approval. The humans were no longer mere passengers. They were the pilots, the strategists, the spark that brought life to the dead vessel. As night fell, the ardent Voyager crew marveled at their newfound power. They could feel the pulse of the starship, responding to human ingenuity in ways alien races could never understand. Every corridor, every weapon, every shield, tuned to human intuition. This is only the beginning, Jack said, eyes glowing with excitement. We've barely scratched the surface. Soon, we'll see what this ship can really do. You're insane and brilliant. I don't know if we'll survive, but I know we've just changed the rules of the galaxy. Elias stood silently, watching the starfield outside. Humanity was no longer weak, no longer minor players. With Jax at the controls and the Colossal Starship at their disposal, they were a force to be reckoned with. But the galaxy was watching. And not everyone would welcome humans wielding a weapon of unimaginable power. The alien fleet was no longer hiding. Hundreds of warships filled the far edge of the system. Their engines burned blue and green against the darkness. Massive cruisers formed defensive lines. Smaller attack ships moved like insects around them. They were not scouts anymore. They had come for war. Inside the Colossal Starship, tension filled the air. The human crew stood at their stations, watching the enemy gather. Captain Elias Thorne crossed his arms. That's not a warning fleet. That's an extermination fleet. They don't want to capture the ship anymore. They want to destroy it, and us with it. Jax Mercer stood in the glowing core chamber, staring at the floating energy sphere. It pulsed softly, almost calmly, despite the approaching storm. Good, Jax said quietly. Elias turned sharply. Good? Jax grinned. Pressure makes humans better, and this ship, it's learning from us. Over the last 2 days, Jax had pushed the colossal vessel beyond simple activation. He had begun transforming it. Not just repairing, not just defending. Transforming. He discovered that the ship's systems were modular. Entire sections could reconfigure, weapons could combine, energy conduits could redirect power in ways that broke normal physics. The aliens who built it had used strict patterns, fixed logic. Humans did not think that way. Jax had rewired 3 weapon grids together, creating a new type of energy cascade the ship had never used before. He had linked shield generators to propulsion cores, allowing temporary bursts of impossible speed. He had even connected the gravity manipulators to external hull plating. The result? The ship was no longer ancient alien design. It was becoming something new, something human. Fleet entering attack range, Mara announced. On the view screen, alien warships spread into formation, energy built at the front of their cannons. "They're charging everything," Elias said. Jax cracked his knuckles. Perfect timing. He tapped a sequence of glowing glyphs. The Colossal Starship responded instantly. The outer hull shifted. Massive armored plates rotated, revealing hidden structures beneath. Long spines extended outward. Energy rippled across the surface like lightning over water. The humans felt the vibration under their feet. The ship was awake. Fully awake. The first wave of alien fire struck. Blinding beams slammed into the colossal hull. Explosions covered its surface. Inside, alarms sounded, but Jax only smiled. "Redirect shield frequency," he muttered. The ship adapted. Instead of resisting the energy, the shields absorbed part of it. The energy flowed along the hull and into newly connected conduits Jax had installed. "Wait," Mara whispered. "Are we storing their attack?" "Yes," Jax said. "Why waste free power?" The next alien volley hit harder. The Colossal Starship glowed brighter. Energy built along the extended spines. Elias stared. "Mercer, what did you build?" "Something they've never seen." The alien admiral aboard the flagship watched in confusion. "Why is the target not collapsing?" "Energy readings increasing," one officer replied nervously. "It is absorbing our fire." "Impossible." But it was happening. Now, Jax said calmly. He slammed his hand onto the central control. The Colossal Starship released everything. A massive wave of condensed energy burst outward. Not a beam, not a missile, but a wide arc of destructive light. It swept across the battlefield. Alien ships caught in its path did not explode normally. They simply vanished. Shields collapsed instantly. Hulls disintegrated. Silence followed. Nearly 1/3 of the attacking fleet was gone in seconds. Inside the human command deck, nobody spoke. Mara finally whispered, "That's not a weapon. That's a system reset." Exactly. The alien fleet panicked. Ships broke formation. Some attempted retreat. Others charged recklessly. "They're confused," Elias observed. "Of course they are," Jax replied. "They planned for a machine. They didn't plan for humans." Another wave of enemy ships rushed forward, firing rapidly. Jax adjusted quickly. Switch gravity grid. External pulse mode. The space around the colossal ship twisted. Gravity surged outward in controlled bursts. Alien ships were pulled off course, smashing into one another. Missiles curved away from their targets. Entire formations collapsed into chaos. Mara stared at her screen. "You're weaponizing physics." Jax shrugged. "Physics is just another tool. Boarding pods launched from the alien cruisers. They're trying to take us from inside," a crew member shouted. Jax laughed softly. "Let them." The pods connected to the hull. Alien soldiers forced their way inside and immediately regretted it. The corridors shifted. Walls moved. Gravity flipped sideways. Human crew members trained by days inside the changing structure moved confidently through the chaos. The aliens stumbled, disoriented. One squad found themselves trapped in a corridor that looped endlessly. Another opened a door and stepped directly into an airless chamber. Jax monitored everything from the core. "They rely on stable environments," he said. "Humans adapt fast. They don't." Within minutes, the boarding attempt failed. But the alien admiral was not finished. A massive dreadnought moved forward, larger than any other ship in the fleet. Its weapon began charging, a focused stellar lance designed to pierce planetary crusts. "That can hurt us," Mara said quietly. Elias looked at Jax. "Ideas?" Jax stared at the energy readings. Then he smiled. "Oh, I have an idea." Instead of raising shields, Jax lowered them. The crew gasped. "Mercer," Elias barked. "Trust me. A beam of pure destruction slammed directly into the colossal ship's core. For one terrifying second, everything went white. Alarms screamed. Energy surged beyond safe limits. Mara shouted, "Core overload!" Jax's hands flew across the controls. "Not overload," he corrected. Upgrade. He had secretly linked the core to deeper systems he had only partially understood. The alien builders had capped the output for safety. Humans removed limits. The stellar lance energy poured into the ancient core. Instead of breaking, it evolved. The sphere in the center of the chamber changed color, from blue to white to blazing gold. New symbols appeared across every wall. The ship was transforming again. Outside, the colossal starship expanded. Not physically, but energetically. A golden field spread around it. Alien sensors screamed warnings. "Unknown power spike!" shouted an alien officer. The human ship moved. Not forward, not backward, but sideways, through space itself. It appeared instantly beside the alien dreadnought. Elias's jaw dropped. "Did we just—" "Short-range spatial fold," Jax said calmly. "I think I unlocked something." Before the aliens could react, the colossal ship extended a single focused beam. Unlike the earlier wave, this one was precise. It pierced the dreadnought from bow to stern. The massive warship split in half. Silence fell across the battlefield. The remaining alien fleet hesitated. Then slowly, they began to retreat. Not in formation, not in order. They fled. Inside the colossal starship, the humans stood in stunned silence. They had not just survived, they had dominated. Mara looked at Jax. "You didn't just repair it." "No," he admitted softly. "I finished it." Elias walked slowly toward the core chamber window, staring at the stars. "We were supposed to be a minor species," he said. "New, weak." Jax leaned against the glowing console. "Ooh. Humans are never weak," he replied. "We just need the right tools." The golden energy around the ship slowly stabilized. The colossal vessel was no longer ancient alien technology. It was something new. A fusion of alien power and human creativity. A galactic megaweapon guided by human unpredictability. But deep inside the core, new symbols continued to form. Mara noticed them first. "Jax, the ship isn't done changing." He stepped closer. The sphere pulsed brighter. "It's learning from us," he whispered. "And what happens when it finishes learning?" Elias asked. Jax looked at the endless stars outside. "Then the galaxy will really understand what humans can do." The vast emptiness of space suddenly trembled. Long-range sensors screamed warnings. From beyond the galactic edge, a shadow appeared. A ship, or maybe a fleet, that dwarfed anything the humans had ever imagined. Its hull was black as void, spanning thousands of kilometers. Energy flares burst along its surface. It radiated power older than most stars. Elias Thorne stared at the readings. "That's not just a fleet. That's an entire civilization's weapon." Mara Louie swallowed hard. "They've waited for us to awaken the colossal ship. And now, they're coming to end us." Jax Mercer leaned casually against a console, though his hands hovered over the controls. "Good. I like it when the stakes are high. Humans thrive under pressure." "Mercer," Elias said slowly, "this isn't just a normal enemy. They can destroy entire systems with a single strike." Jax grinned. "Exactly why we're going to show them. Humans don't just fight. We innovate. We survive. We win." The colossal starship hummed, responding to Jax's touch. It had absorbed alien tech. It had evolved. It had become more than a machine, a partner that trusted human instinct. Jax moved through the core, linking systems in ways no alien engineer could comprehend. He rerouted energy from weapons to shields, then to propulsion, then to the gravity manipulators, creating dynamic defenses that could anticipate attacks before they happened. Mara watched, awestruck. "It's like the ship thinks like a human." "Exactly," Jax said. "Humans don't just follow patterns. We create patterns, we break them. That's why no alien, no AI can predict us." The enemy vessel drew closer. Its energy pulses struck the edge of the colossal ship's shields. The humans could feel the tremor of power through the hull. Evasive maneuvers, Elias commanded, though it seemed almost unnecessary. The colossal ship moved like a living organism, sidestepping energy blasts, folding space slightly to avoid collisions, and repelling alien drones with sudden bursts of gravitational force. "Humans," a voice boomed across intercepted comm channels. "You dare awaken the starship? You are children playing with power beyond your understanding." Jax tapped the core controls. "We're not children. We're humans, and we always rise when the odds are against us." The colossal vessel extended its energy spines, shimmering gold. The outer hull reshaped, revealing massive cannon arrays never before activated. Jack smiled. Time to show them why humans are dangerous. He pressed a sequence of alien glyphs he had modified. Energy arcs shot across the battlefield like rivers of light. Alien attack ships were vaporized before they even reached firing range. Mara stared at the view screen. "It's and terrifying. Humans make beauty out of survival." The enemy responded. They unleashed a barrage designed to collapse stars, targeting nearby suns to generate supernova-level attacks. Elias swore, "We can't survive that. Watch us." He activated the ship's gravity manipulators, projecting a massive field around the star. Energy twisted, redirected, and absorbed the supernova-level blasts. The colossal vessel siphoned the energy, converting it into power for its weapons and shields. Mara gasped. "You're feeding off the star's explosion." "Exactly," Jack said. "Humans don't just survive disasters. We use them." A boarding force attempted to infiltrate the colossal ship. Massive pods dropped from the enemy vessel. Alien soldiers poured into the corridors. The humans fought back with improvised ingenuity. Gravity fields shifted suddenly, hurling enemies against walls. Hallways looped endlessly, confusing the invaders. Energy nets trapped squads mid-step. Every move the aliens made, the humans had already adapted to. "They don't know what they're facing," Mara said, "and that's our advantage. Humans adapt. Aliens calculate." Jack said simply, "And calculation is slow. Adaptation is instant." The colossal starship's energy surged again. Jax had discovered a way to combine the ship's offensive systems into a single unstoppable beam. He activated it. A golden stream of energy, brighter than a sun, shot forward. Enemy ships disintegrated instantly. The massive black vessel recoiled, unable to absorb the human ingenuity channeled through the ship. Elias watched in awe. This is a human weapon, not just technology, not just firepower. Something alive." "Exactly," Jack said. "It's not the ship. It's the humans controlling it." The enemy attempted a counterattack. Massive gravity projectors threatened to crush the colossal ship. Jax worked quickly, rerouting energy, linking shields to weapons, and then to gravity systems. The ship responded like an extension of his mind. The black vessel fired a concentrated energy lance, aiming directly at the ship's core. For one heart-stopping second, it seemed impossible. Then Jax smiled. "Watch and learn." He redirected the lance energy into the starship's gravity manipulators, folding space around the attack. The beam bent back, striking the enemy vessel in the heart. The black ship shattered in an explosion that lit up half the system. The remaining enemy ships hesitated. Fear spread across their formations. The colossal starship advanced, unstoppable and precise. In the core chamber, Jack stood, hands raised over the controls, like a conductor guiding an orchestra. "Humans, this is what we do," he whispered. "We face impossible odds. We turn them into victory. We turn the old rules into our own. It's beyond imagination." Elias finally nodded, a rare smile crossing his face. "We underestimated humanity again." The colossal starship now dominated the battlefield. Every enemy strike was met with a countermeasure. Every tactic was predicted and outmaneuvered. The humans had turned alien technology into a force powered by human creativity, audacity, and instinct. It wasn't just a weapon. It was a statement. Humans had arrived. And the galaxy would remember. The remaining alien forces fled. Communications went silent. Systems across the fleet collapsed as the colossal ship neutralized energy fields and weapons remotely. No lives were taken unnecessarily. Jax was careful, but the galaxy had learned a lesson. Humans could wield unimaginable power, and they did so with intelligence, improvisation, and courage. Inside the Colossal Starship, the human crew stood in silence, catching their breath. We did it against impossible odds. Jax grinned. We didn't just survive. We adapted, we innovated, we turned a dead ship into a legend. That's humans. No, Jack said. And that's just the beginning. Deep in the core, the energy sphere pulsed. It had learned from humans, evolved with humans, and now shone brighter than ever. It was no longer alien. It was something new, something human, something unstoppable. Epilogue. Months later, the Colossal Starship now patrolled the human colonies at the edge of explored space. It was no longer just a weapon. It was a symbol, a beacon. Humans had proven themselves capable of handling the impossible. Other species began sending envoys, wary but curious. They had seen what humans could do, and they respected the ingenuity of a species that could turn abandoned alien technology into a galactic megaweapon. Jax Mercer stood on the command deck, watching stars streak past as the colossal ship moved at near light speeds. Elias joined him. Do you ever worry we're pushing too far? Jax laughed. Elias, humans never stop pushing. That's what makes us humans. Mara joined them, smiling. And now the galaxy knows it too. The Colossal Starship hummed beneath their feet, alive in a way humans could understand. It had chosen humans, and humans had chosen to rise. The legend had begun. The galaxy would never underestimate humanity again.